Good evening and welcome to the Peace Circle. I'm Gina from Concordia Centers for Spiritual Living. I'm a practitioner in Rhode Island, and I am grateful to be here with you this evening, sharing the Peace Circle. Now, what the Peace Circle is a time once a week where we come together for cultivating peace. Before I came into these practices, into New Thought and Science of Mind, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what peace really was. I thought of peace as something, okay, it was not war. I knew that. And I knew it was something loving, and I liked it and I spoke of it, but I don't think I knew how to achieve inner peace. I wasn't raised in it. I didn't have any kind of practice in that. Well, I had prayer. Prayer and peace are two different things. And when it came to learning it, I realized that there's a lot of people that have no idea how to be the change we wish to see in the world. So if I want peace, I have to cultivate peace. I have to be that peace in order to see that peace. So the Peace Circle is where we come together to be in a place of love, in a place of knowing, in a place of something bigger than, to come together and practice, cultivate peace. So every week there is a different topic that helps us get to that point of, how do I practice this to become that which I wish to see in the world? How do I do it in my personal life? How in my relationships? How do I cultivate peace? And every week's a different topic. And today's topic is faith. What is faith, and how do I use my faith? How do I cultivate it? How do I strengthen it? What does it mean? There are people that will say they consider themselves a person of faith, but what is it that you're believing in? And what is that believing doing for you, through you in your life? So I always begin the Peace Circle with, I too have a dream. And it's a poem that I wrote that I believe really embodies what the Peace Circle is all about. In my dream too, we all are equal, and not color, religion, nor income defines who we are. Neither country nor region defines us as kin, whether 2 legs or 4, plant or animal. We were all created of the one creator, with no greater claim to borrow this beautiful earth. In my dream, we all are one, treating each other with love and respect, and living in peace. We are all truly awake, knowing our purpose, to share love and joy, and to uplift each other, and in doing so, uplift ourselves. In my dream, we each remember and appreciate each other, and truly understand that all is well. And in that knowing, regardless of what I see, oftentimes people say, well, when I see it, I'll believe it. When the truth is that we have to believe it to see it. So it's coming to that place. And in that, you may have had a busy day. You may have had a thought-provoking day. Regardless of what today may have brought to you, I invite you to be in that place of peace right now. The song that I'm going to play for you is absolutely peaceful. Shania Noel singing, "You can relax now." So I invite you to settle into peace and cultivate and think, what is the word faith all about? What does it mean to me? What is it in my life?
eternity, and that will never change. You can relax now. I am with you. You are the child of God, and that will never change. You can relax now. You are the child of God.
So you can relax now. When we're in that place of faith and trust, we have that ability to be still and know. When I was first learning how to meditate, what that even meant, that was what I used as my center. That's what I would repeat as a mantra, is be still and know. Knowing that in that stillness, the answer would come in that place of peace. I trusted that. Webster defines faith as an allegiance to duty or a person, a loyalty, fidelity to one's promises, sincerity of intentions. Then it goes on to a belief and trust in loyalty to God, belief in the traditional doctrines of a religion, firm belief in something for which there is no proof, complete trust. Complete trust. And we give our faith to so many things. There are so many times in our life that we have that. And we do it because we're conditioned to. You know, there's no doubt in our mind when we go to sleep at night that when we wake up in the morning, there will be sun. Whether it's hidden behind a cloud or it could even be snowing, but there will still be light. We know and we expect certain things to happen. That's faith. Now, when we think of it in spiritual terms, faith is knowing that there's something behind it all, something bigger than me, and that we can use it. And that's the big part of that, is knowing that we can use it. Ernest Holmes says, faith is a mental attitude that is so convinced of its own idea, which is so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. So it is being in that place of knowing, how could that sun not be there the next day? The thought that how could it be any other way? We expect seasons to change. We expect certain things because we've always had that, and it's just the way that we expect it to be. There's a faith in that we use every day. There's a law of gravity. There's, we know that water is wet. There's certain things that we know. When our faith is in that same level of knowing, we can relax. And one of the lines in the song says, "You are a child of God, and that will never change." So the beloved, that beloved creator, parent, guardian, love, will always be that. And it is always seeking a higher level of itself as you, as me, as each individualized expression. In my book, Your Journey to Happiness, I say faith is trusting and believing in what you cannot see or prove to be real. You use it every day, but some things are easier to believe in than others. When you stop at a red light, you have complete trust that it will change green. Yet when paused by a sickness or a detour in life, people are often shaken with doubt and fear. Faith is trusting in big and small things. Because the universe, there is no big and small. Faith is stepping back and not interrupting, allowing the divine plan to manifest, but acting as guided to facilitate it. It is comforting belief that dispels fear and doubt. Regardless of what you call the creator, it is knowing that that infinite source will provide answers and means to sustain you. Just as a small child depends on its parent, it is not prayer for your choice of good, but for God's highest good as and for you. So it's trusting in something bigger than me that is working for me. This universe, it is friendly, working in a positive direction for me. And when I know that, I can step back and be in that place of attracting what is mine to do. Because we know thoughts become things. So if thoughts become things, I can either be part of the solution or am I part of what I perceive as a problem? Because when we plant a seed in the soil, we expect the soil to do something with it. We don't know how it works. We don't know why putting it in dark soil changes a seed into a plant. Well, we trust that it will do it. It's done it billions of times before. We trust that. That is what it's like when it comes to a faith of knowing that there is something better. So it's being in a place of allowing spirit to work in, through, and as me, as our country, as our world, as everything for the highest good. And being that change means knowing it, trusting it, living in it, and attracting it. So I put the seed in the soil knowing that something's going to happen. But if it's been a dry season, I'll make sure it gets water. If something's blocking the way, I can move what's blocking so it gets sunlight. It'll be nurtured. I will do what I'm prompted to know to do to cultivate that faith and create the conditions to bring about that highest good. Within me, cultivating faith is being in that same knowing. It's spiritual practices that allow me to connect with spirit, to commune and relax and allow. If I'm at a restaurant and I place an order, I expect the order to come back out. I don't chase that waiter into the kitchen and say, well, are you sure you placed it? Did you tell them no mustard? Did you tell them? I trust that what I gave as an order is going to come back. And that's what faith is about, is trusting. You know, sometimes I just put it very simply as I let God be God. I don't have to try to control, because I can't control people, places, and things. That's not my job. I can control how I react to them, but I cannot control what others will do. But when I am in that place of conviction, I breathe easy. And I attract into my life that highest vibration that I am giving out. I don't have to see where the road goes. I don't have to see the whole staircase, as Martin Luther King would say. I can just take one step at a time. But it's being in that place of knowing and trusting that there is something that is for me. In my life, that has been the greatest gift I've ever had. It's that understanding and love of spirit, that belief in that something greater than me. So as you sit and listen to this song, I invite you to just allow that faith to be, to ask yourself, was I put here for suffering or pain? Of course not. And if it feels in any way for that, then how do I allow spirit to guide me to that higher place? How do I allow in the good that is meant for me? Because the spirit in me, as me, is me, and is the same for each one, living and breathing and having its being as me today. And I know that to be true. Of course, it wants the highest and best. So as you listen to this Karen Drucker song, I invite you to ask yourself, where in my life have I possibly interrupted that flow? And how do I allow myself to just be in peace and trust and faith?
I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love, I have love, I pray love, I choose love, I am love, you are love, we are love, all God's children are love, you are love, we are love, all God's children are love. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well.
When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When there's things that happen and I don't like what it looks like, when I see circumstances and I can't fathom how there can be good in this, is when I need faith the most. For me in my life, I know that everything that's happened, there's been a reason for it. I know it. It's not just it's beyond, I trust it. I've seen it. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes 10 years. Perspective is everything. And we've heard that said a million times, but it truly is. Hindsight's 2020. We've heard that term. It's easy when all is said and done to look back and see the big picture. But when we're in it, when we're in those dark nights of the soul, it isn't always quite so simple. And in those moments, it's most important who we surround ourselves with. There's a lot of drama and there's a lot of fear out in the world today. When we turn on the news and there's negative stories or we see things that are difficult, there's a lot of fear out there. And there's also a lot of faith. There are people walking through and people that are graciously, lovingly helping at every turn. In every crisis, there's people that do step up and help. Communities, cities, towns, countries. People step up and help. That's what humanity is about. We're meant to need each other. But sometimes we can't see it. That's when we have to feel it. So I'd like to read to you this. It's from it's Daily Word from August 18th of this year. It says, I believe all things are possible with God. My faith carries me through all circumstances and empowers me to think and dream big. The power of faith helps me transcend thoughts of limitation, doubt, and fear. I can't see material outcome to my prayers yet, but I remain mindful that divine order is unfolding and answers and opportunities will come to me in the perfect time. In times of prayer, I visualize my dreams coming true as I use my power of faith to see the life I wish to live within my reach. Even if I started to feel doubt, I can pray, meditate, speak, and act with faith until I once again believe that my good is manifesting. I continue to connect with indwelling spirit until I am now filled anew, rightly directed faith. And it says from Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. And Jesus said, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. The master teacher that he was here to show us what is possible. And yes, those miracles, absolutely. There are miracles every day. Some are big, some are small, but again, the universe knows no size. We've all had those quote unquote coincidences where we're thinking of someone and they call. When we've needed someone and they were there. I once had a surgery. I had several tumors removed and I didn't know I was going to, and I needed a recliner. And I came home and I was in such an awful state that doesn't begin to scratch the surface. But I was going to have to go out and find a recliner that was comfortable for me. And an hour before the store opened, a friend called. And she said, how are you doing? And I said, well, I'm going to need to. And I could barely walk at the time. And she said, I have one. I used it for my knee surgery. She said, go by my house, have your husband pick it up. He can pick it up. I'll leave the door unlocked. She wasn't even going to be home. She told me where it would be in her house, just to have my husband, who she had never met, go and pick it up. It was a brand new recliner. Still had tags on it. She had barely used it. And I didn't have to, it was free. The universe knew what I needed long before I needed it and provided it in amazing ways. I couldn't have even known that I would need that, yet I did. And it was there waiting. Made that person call at that right and perfect time. It's knowing that the universe already knows. Spirit already knows, not just what's in my heart, but all of it, everything, and is working for the highest and best of myself and for each. And it's walking in faith when I cannot see, even when it doesn't feel it sometimes. Sometimes it feels like it's going through the motions, waiting for things to change. And even then, it's doing that next right thing in faith that leads to the joy, that joyous next step. We get to choose how we live our lives. There are a lot of people that are living in a way of the next thing, and it's that constant struggle. And life feels like that. It's always our society, bigger, better, faster, more is our society. And I am a life coach, and I know it's all about goals, and I understand that goals are important, but we're human beings, not human doings. So when we think about faith, it's coming to a place of, I don't need to hoard, and I don't need the bigger and the bigger and the bigger, the better car, the nicer this. It's not to say that I don't deserve it, but if I'm not fulfilled on the inside, all that stuff on the outside is not going to change that. I get to choose how I live. It's up to me to choose what is important to me. Because we can, I've known plenty of people that worked 60, 80, 100 hours a week and their relationships were crap. And then I've known other people that their relationships were great and financially they weren't in the right place. And it's not to say you need one or the other, but it's coming to that place of knowing what's most important. I've known plenty of people that financially had nothing, but they had joy and faith that led them through, not just to, but through anything and everything. And all they needed was provided for. So it's being in a place of trusting Spirit to deliver all that we need in that right and perfect way. Now, there's some people that outline, well, I want that thing, that specific car, or that specific person, or that specific. It's not about being that specific. What is the need? What are you choosing to feel? What is it that you want? And that's where that goes. Sometimes the job that we thought we had to have wasn't meant for us. Maybe it was a company that would have gone under in a year. Maybe the next job interview you went on would have been so much better. Maybe you're alone because the right person isn't available yet. And when they are, Spirit has got this perfect match far beyond anything you could imagine. It's trusting that there is better and wonderful that is looking for you as you are looking for it. And faith is allowing yourself to play in that. Sometimes we are in that place that feels like the storm. And allow yourself, as you listen to this, whatever may have seemed as a burden to you, as you listen to this next song, I invite you to remember that in the center of the biggest storm there's an eye, and there is peace in the middle of it. That in the bottom of the ocean, it is still. In the vast ocean, doesn't matter the storm on the bottom of the ocean, it is still. So there is a stillness and a peace always available when we are in that place of faith. For me, faith is that life raft. No matter what, I am never alone in the ocean. I am on that raft of faith that carries me and guides me lovingly. Sometimes it may feel like the rapids, but I am always safe and protected within that faith. So as you listen to this song, I invite you to hear it, feel it, and allow any seeming circumstances that may have been overwhelming just to bring them to mind and set them free. Hand them over. And honestly, that's one of my greatest visualizations. Whatever, if it's people, if it was a seeming illness, if it were circumstances, if it was a bill, I picture loving hands, the ceramic hands that we often see that are held open. I picture putting those in those divine hands. And it has carried me through so many circumstances with loved ones, especially children, people in my life that it wasn't my place to change a circumstance. But when I truly pray and I am in faith, I visualize myself giving them to Spirit in that way, and knowing they are in those perfect, loving, divine hands, far better than mine could ever be, knowing that the highest and the greatest love is right there. So I invite you, as you listen to this song, be in that place of turning it over, handing it over, whatever it may be, any worry or concern, any seeming lack, any seeming illness, or people in our lives. Whatever it may be, I invite you to hand that over. To visualize yourself giving that over and being in and as peace.
In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. And in the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm. When the solid ground is falling out from underneath my feet, between the black skies and my red eyes, I can barely see. When I realize I've been sold out by my friends and my family, I can feel the rain reminding me. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm.
When my hopes and dreams are far from me and I'm running out of faith, I see the future I picture slowly fade away. And when the tears of pain and heartache are pouring down my face, I find my peace in Jesus' name. In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. In the middle of the war, you guard my soul. You alone are the anchor when my sails are torn. Your love surrounds me in the eye of the storm.
Comes in and the doctor says I've only got a few months left. It's like a bitter pill I'm swallowing, I can barely take a breath. And when addiction steals my baby girl and there's nothing I can do, my only hope is to trust you. I trust you, Lord.
In the eye of the storm, you remain in control. Of the war, you guard my soul.
is failing, you're still holding on. When the storm is raging, my hope is gone. You know my hope is gone. When the flesh is failing, you're still holding on. When the storm is raging, my hope is gone. And my hope is gone. When the flesh is failing, you're still holding on. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me.
One thing that I love about New Thought is that we really don't exclude anything. Whatever the teaching is, there's something in it that many of us find beauty, love, joy, harmony. There's so many different practices from different faiths. And we are, in some ways, a culmination of so many. And I love that. I love that there are people within my center that were in many different faiths. You know, there were Buddhists and there were Christians and there were people that were Jewish. There were so many different, even just at my center. So when we think about New Thought, it's a culmination of so much wisdom. And we allow ourselves to be a part of that. We allow ourselves to be embraced by that wisdom, that one mind. There was an article that I loved called Our Journey to Faith, and it was actually in the Science of Mind magazine from September of last year, actually, and it honored 100 years of Yogananda. And the article was written by Brother Balananda, and it was talking about the difference. It says belief that leads to faith. And he said, I put my whole heart and mind into my efforts. I focused on keeping my body still during meditation. I kept my mind calm and controlled restless thoughts. After a couple of years of dedication, my belief in the power of Yogananda's teachings had been transformed into faith. So sometimes when we pray because we've memorized. I know when I was growing up, I memorized a prayer. It didn't necessarily mean I understood it. It didn't mean that I embodied it. It meant that I could recite it. So there's a far cry between saying something and understanding it and embodying it. There are plenty of people that may call themselves whatever faith it may be, but are they living that way? So the article goes on to say, Yogananda says belief in God and faith in God are different. A belief is valueless if you don't test it and live by it. Belief converted into experience becomes faith. I realized the experiences of Yogananda talked about were not reserved just for great masters, saints, and avatars. These are experiences each one of us can have, since we are all children of God, made in his divine image. It goes on to say, cultivating faith. Faith is born of love. If we love someone deeply, we have faith in that they tell us. To have faith in ourselves is also important. Once we realize we are sons and daughters of God, we realize we can do anything. We have unlimited potential. God can be thought of as an intelligent ocean of light and energy, governing all things. And we are cells in that ocean of light and energy. We are all little sparks of God. Some cells are brighter than others. Some are darker. Some are just brimming with light, and they share that light with all the other cells. When we face an obstacle, the universe responds to help us reach our goal or dream. We are all connected and one in God. And it's understanding that light is all there is, therefore I am that, and knowing that we are all one in that divine energy. You know, as I've gone through life, there are people that I see the light in their eyes. When someone loves what they do, there's an exuberance, there's a light, there's an excitement. And I can remember, I mean, I had an aunt, my Aunt Angie, when I was a child. She had this light about her that I was so attracted to. And I was very young and she was very old and lived down the street from me, and I would go visit her. And she wasn't my actual aunt. It was through marriage and like different generations. But this woman just had a peace and love and light that she exuded, that at the time I had no idea what any of that was. I just knew it felt good to be around her. There was something about her that I knew even then, and then was probably at 7 to 8 years old. I knew that this woman was the closest thing to God that I could ever imagine. Like, this woman had been through hell. She had been through so many things in life. I didn't know that when I was young. I knew she had a few things. She had a son that she was told was not supposed to make it past 5 or 6 and live to be well into his 30s, that was in a wheelchair, and she, all of 4'10", maybe 90 pounds, would lift him in and out of it. She had a husband that was, 6 feet tall, that she cared for in the same way. And then she had her sister that she did the same for. And she never once complained. And I couldn't understand how there was so much joy in this woman, how there was so much light and love as I look back, because of course I didn't understand all of that as a child. As I got older, I heard the stories of. But this woman had a light in her that was radiant. There was a peace. She was the embodiment of that Christ, that knowing, that love. Now, I didn't know and can't fathom how, but I knew she was devout beyond measure. And that's how I knew that there wasn't just one way, because every faith that I knew of at that time all said, if you don't do it our way, there is no other. And I'm so grateful that we are in a place that is accepting of whatever idea of spirit is, that allness of the universe. It is expansive and loving and joyous. And I'm happy that you have faith in whatever it is that you believe, because faith is that light. The light that I was attracted to from her eyes was that faith. And I have known teachers, I have known different people throughout my life that had that light. But you cannot have that light. It cannot come through you without that faith. I have never known a person that exuded that light that wasn't a person of faith. Sometimes we may feel like there's something blocking. We may feel even like there might be something missing, but it's walking in that faith, in that knowing that I am never alone. I am never forsaken. I've never forgotten. There is that love that is beyond comprehension. And it's a knowing. Martin Luther King says, faith is a living, daring confidence in God's grace, so sure and certain that a man could stake his life on it 1,000 times. It's a knowing, and a knowing that I know, full confidence. And in this month's, in this month's Science of Mind magazine, Reverend Dr. Sharon Hudson says, I know that faith and something we might call grace are to a great extent responsible for the love and the many other good things in life. I used to think of grace as an unearned gift bestowed by God. In the bigger picture, grace is simply the tendency of life to naturally move us towards love, towards healing, towards abundance, towards good. This is the nature of the universe. When things are not going well, it's not always easy to feel peace, wholeness, and joy. This is the time to step into faith and lean into grace. We build our faith by focusing on the goodness we already have and keeping our attention on our dreams. We know with our conscious mind that there is a power for good in the universe and that it is always creating. It responds to what we believe and expect and create accordingly. It is by grace that we can find love and peace in any situation. Perhaps grace allows us to overcome our limited sense of self in any sense that we may not be good enough. Meditate on grace. Feel yourself living in a state of grace, and your life will be transformed. The grace of God is the most wondrous thing in life. It's knowing and knowing that I know. It's allowing Spirit in that highest form to be that guide, to carry me when I need that. That divine love, that divine joy, that is that beyond understanding. Ernest Holmes says, I live in the faith that there a presence and power greater than I am nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am. That power is always right where I am. Living and breathing and moving through me for that highest good, that highest knowing and understanding. So I invite you, as you listen to this last song this evening, it is a joy-filled song, and I invite you to be in that place of knowing and knowing that you know. Be in that place of knowing that Spirit is in this place. And this place is right here where you are. Spirit as you. Spirit is in this place.
Come here.
Spirit is in this place, and this place is right here, right now, exactly where you are. Each one is that individualized expression, that perfect spark. Knowing that, allowing that light to shine, remembering that it's there, that practice of faith is what truly sustains. There is nothing outside of us that is needed. It is already within you. Anything and everything that you truly need is already there. You were born with it. And in that knowing of that highest vibration, when I am in that place of knowing and I am being that, then I am at peace. And when I am at peace, I'm cultivating that. I am bringing that out into the world. I am igniting that light, that faith, that truth in all that I am surrounded by and in the all, because there is only one. And the last reading that I have for this evening, and I just want to note that if there's any questions or comments or anything, any way to reach me, by all means, reach out to me. I, again, am a practitioner, and I would love to hear your feedback. If there's something that you'd like me to pray for, it's Gina at believeinouttoday.com. It's going across the bottom, Gina, Gina at believeinouttoday.com. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear from you. And the last reading that I'd like to share is from Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. And it's on page 72. It says, "My faith is creative. Faith attracts like a law because it is a law. It is the law of mind in action. When we realize this, we no longer feel that we must have faith in ourselves as isolated beings, but rather that as human beings, we are included in the great law of life. Then we can rest in complete confidence that our word, spoken in faith, are the presence and power of the activity of spirit in us. All sense of making things happen or holding thoughts or concentrating is put aside, and with childlike acceptance, we make known our requests with thanksgiving." He says, "I am one with God. Nothing can separate me from the spirit within. With complete faith in its presence and power, I know that all that I am and do is the divine presence expressing itself through me. I now speak my word of health for my body, my feelings, and my thoughts, knowing that the spirit within is the power which brings this wholeness into complete being. I speak the word of joy, and the spirit within frees me from loneliness and sadness. The thoughts I think and the words I speak are brought to pass because it is God speaking them through me. So I pray aright, I live affirmatively, I speak affirmatively, I choose to remember, and that's faith in action. So I invite you to know that, be that faith in action. I'd love to share with you a few things, a few announcements. Just remember that we are here every day at New Thought Media. We are here 8:15 a.m. and p.m. and that is for a morning prayer, and 8:15 is Central Time. So it's actually 10:15 my time. I'll be here to pray with you tomorrow morning, actually. I'd love to see you then. And our prayer team is always here. It's prayer@ntmedia.org. I would love for you to join us anytime you need it. We are always, all of our shows, all of our programming is always available. Wherever you found this link, there are other links. And our programming, it's amazing. Reverend Robert has done so much to bring new thought and onto this platform, and there's so many more shows coming through. So grateful for all that is there, and I'm grateful for all of you that are tuning in. If you have heard something today, or in general, anything on this network that has brought truth to you, please help bring that truth out to the world. There's a link below what you had clicked on to get in. There's links that can lead you right to a donation. If you're able and feel called to give, whether you call it a tithe or a donation, whatever it may be, we would love for you to help us share this platform and let things go to a whole nother level. So I appreciate, we definitely appreciate anything that you have to offer or share. I want to mention that I have a workshop this weekend. If anyone is interested, Living Without Limits. It's shifting from stressed to blessed. And it's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. via Zoom this Saturday. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if 9 a.m. it would be if you're in Central Time. I'm at Gina at Believe in You Today. Again, Gina at believeInyoutoday.com. If you wanted to get some more information about that. And the joy is in the journey. We have, come on down. Every week is a different topic. I would love for you to join us. And it is 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to have come on down and ask us some questions. It's learning how to be present and to allow more good, more and more good. And we have another workshop with Reverend Michelle, our Jersey girl. She hosts the shows on the network. She is amazing. I've taken her workshop. She is incredible. It says it's using mind, the 10% of your conscious mind. So it's learning how to think and choose consciously. So please consider that. It's 2 weekends. It's the 13th and the 20th. There's more information on the website, but I know it will be absolutely wonderful. So thank you for being here. Thank you for practicing that faith with me today. Thank you for knowing and knowing that we know. Coming together to be in this place of peace and love and cultivate that in the world. So thank you. And I wish you, as you move into this evening and the rest of this week, I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you all of the blessings, knowing that Spirit as you is caring and lifting you every step of the way, guiding, guarding, and protecting. So knowing that peace, knowing that love, I am so grateful. I say thank you, and I set it free. Blessed be. Amen, and so it is. So have a wonderful evening or day or whenever it is you're watching. Love and light.